What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Well, yesterday we did have that Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, and while some of the things did leak out a bit early, there were still some legitimate surprises there, and we'll go over all the different announcements here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Microsoft making it official with some of their first-party Xbox games going to other platforms, along with introducing some physical copies for them. And then we're also going to be talking about Elden Ring, as we had the big reveal for their expansion that's coming out here pretty soon, and go figure, it looks pretty good. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton, and if new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below, and of course, members for the channel do get Newswave ad-free and early. If you want to learn more about that, click the join button down below this video. And we're going to start today with Bloodborne, because of course, as Miyazaki is making the rounds for Elden Ring with that expansion, it was asked about Bloodborne, and if we could ever see any kind of remake or remaster, just something for this game. Well, this was posted up over on Eurogamer, and while Miyazaki did kind of spend some time talking about the idea of doing remasters, remakes is just make them more accessible on different platforms, especially with the newer consoles, Bloodborne technically is available. It's just at 30 frames per second, but he did apologize for being unable to say anything more specific about remaking the PS4 exclusive, but said he was thrilled at the game's continued response. Of course, that's going to lead to all kinds of speculation that behind the scenes they're still talking and negotiating and maybe even developing a Bloodborne remaster or remake. But really the thing with this is most people are just asking for a patch to lift that 30 FPS mark, because we've already seen modders be able to do that. So we assume that's something they could as well. Maybe they're holding off on that because they are doing a remaster or a remake, or they'll just string along Souls fans until the end of time. But here's hoping they have maybe something really cool planned for Bloodborne in the future on the PS5. If not, that'd be an interesting PlayStation 6 launch title. Also, we did have Ninja 5.0 officially unveiled with this trailer here that was posted up by Konami. And this is actually coming to us through way of the Carbon engine. So MVG coming through again here. It is coming out on PlayStation, Nintendo, and Steam platforms, of course, there. And this is a callback to the Game Boy Advance original that is incredibly expensive online. And if you look at it, I mean, yeah, it looks like a Game Boy Advance action side-scroller game, and I don't know if the game is like incredible or anything, but it certainly is something that collectors have taken to, so it is nice that this is going to just be kind of put out there and available on these different platforms. We don't have an exact release date for it, just 2024, so we'll have to keep an eye on this one, but I'll at least be checking it out. Again, the Game Boy Advance cartridge being $400, $500, $600 isn't exactly an accessible product. Then of course at that point you're probably just going to emulate it anyway, but it is nice to see an official release coming this year. Oh, and while we're about to talk about that Nintendo Direct here soon, in Japan they had a slightly different Nintendo Direct, especially with the Nintendo Switch Online section, because you can see here they did have Mother 3 announced, and this didn't go over so well in the West, as people have been clamoring for Nintendo to do something to localize this game, and guys, I just don't think it's gonna happen. Nintendo, it just seems really concerned, seemingly, around this game, whether it's the themes, or of course there's licensing and rights stuff, I believe, around music, and there are apparently a lot of roadblocks for this one being localized, and it going into NSO in Japan isn't terribly surprising, because Mother 3 did see a release on the Wii U, so why wouldn't it eventually go to NSO? The thing that I'm curious about is if Nintendo would ever consider doing a limited time release. They did that with Fire Emblem at one point, so I wonder if they would just give Mother 3 like a 6-month window on the Switch in the West, just localize it, and if you get it, great. If not, they just pull what they did with Mario 3D All-Stars or Fire Emblem, something like that. Maybe that's really the only way we could see that happen, but if they do it that way, we need that physical copy, but something tells me this is probably going to stay in Japan, at least for the time being. Today's video is sponsored by Retro Fighters and their new Xbox Wireless Hunter controller. Finding a quality original Xbox controller has been difficult over the years. Most of the time, we've been at the mercy of cheap third-party controllers or 20-year-old originals that we hope still work. This is where the Hunter controller comes in, providing the classic feel with a bunch of modernized features, including low latency 2.4 GHz wireless connection, rechargeable rechargeable battery through USB-C, and Hall effect analog sticks, eliminating concerns around drift. Both rumble and pressure-sensitive buttons are retained here as well. The next-gen ergonomic shape helps to keep your hands comfortable during long play sessions, and the two shoulder buttons at the top act as white and black buttons for the original Xbox to make reaching them during play much easier. The Hunter controller is compatible with Switch, PC, and of course, the original Xbox. Head back to the early 2000s in a whole new way by picking up the Hunter controller using the link below in the description. Thanks again to Retro Fighters for sponsoring today's video. But definitely a big shout out there for Retro Fighters for sponsoring the show here. But of course, with all the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff, starting with that Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase that was roughly 23 minutes long, had 26 different games that were showcased here, so they were going through these announcements pretty quickly, and as I mentioned, some pretty fun surprises in here. But let's start from the top. That's with Grounded. So immediately, right out of the gate, here is an Xbox first-party title, and this is one of 4 total that we're going to be talking about here today. But Grounded, it will have crossplay completely, which is great, because that is the idea, of course. Doing a live service game like this is all the different platforms to be able to play together. And it's coming out April 16th, so not too far off here, just a couple of months. Then we had Ender Magnolia, that's 2024. Arranger, that was interesting. Kind of like a puzzle game where you're shifting kind of the world around this while your character is moving with everyone else. That's summer 2024. Unicorn Overlord, a demo is available now. This is Vanillaware. That is coming out, though, March 8th, so we're just a couple of weeks off from that release. Monster Hunter Stories. They went back to the 3DS to get this one, but they did mention it's fully voiced now. It is in HD, as you'd expect. Summer 2024. Interesting, because we got the follow-up here, Monster Hunter Stories 2, and now they're going back to get that first one. Epic Mickey Rebrush. This was a really cool surprise. I remember playing this back on the Wii, and it feels like an eternity ago, but this is a remake of the original. Also, it's coming through THQ Nordic, another, I guess, bit of a surprise there. 2024, though. Then we did have Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. I just want to point out, because people have wondered about this one, it is also available on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, but it is coming out June 21st. We already went over this. We'll have all the extra content and stuff with it. Apparently, they're going to be raising the level cap for this one, too. Another big surprise, Star Wars Battlefront Collection. These are the good Battlefronts, okay? Anyone wondering? 64 players online. This is a game, though, with that many people in one room. Probably would benefit from crossplay, so I hope they have that figured out, or if not, they'll get that figured out in the future, just to keep kind of the online health for this game. New characters, maps, and it's coming out March 14th. So really, it's like 3 weeks or so from now. Exciting stuff there. I am on that day one. Then we had South Park Snow Day. That is coming out March 26th. Sword Art Online Fractured Daydream, which is 2024. Gundam Breaker 4. I'm interested in this one. It looked kind of cool. I mean, you collect parts and build your own Gundam out and stuff. That is 2024. Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. Another surprise. Over 200 new stages. They have optional motion controls. 16 players online, and it's coming out June 25th, so really, really exciting stuff there for Super Monkey Ball fans. World of Goo 2, this is going to have 4-player co-op. It's coming out May 23rd. Fantasy Life I, that's October 10th. Another Crab's Treasure, April 25th, 2024. Penny's Big Breakaway. People have been recommending this game to me over and over again. It's from the Sonic Mania team, and you know what? I did download it because it's out right now. They just shadow dropped this thing. And as I played the first couple of levels, kind of reminds me of a 3D platformer from like the PS1, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn days. So that I like what I'm seeing so far. I'm going to spend more time with this one, but I would definitely check that out though. Then we have Suika Game multiplayer expansion that is out now. Pepper Grinder, the demo for this is out now. This is coming out March 28th. Pocket Card Jockey, another shadow drop. You can pick that up right now. Then we have Snuffkin, that's March 7th. Tales of Kenzura, that's April 23rd. Demon Slayer Sweep the Board, April 26th. Kingdom Come Deliverance. This, remember we saw the ratings for this, and then it was announced. We were trying to figure out how this would look on the Switch. Well, it's less than a month away now, March 15th. It'll be interesting to see how that looks and how it runs on the platform. Contra Operation Galuga, the demo's out now, March 12th. I checked out the demo on the Switch, and then I checked it out on the Xbox. Kind of rough on the Switch, ran really well on the Xbox there, but again, there's a demo. You can download it and see what you think about it there. Pentiment, that is out right now. It was almost a shadow drop. Kind of weird here because they just said it'll be available tomorrow. But I mean, another game from Microsoft. So they have Grounded and Pentiment, 2 Xbox first-party games going to the Switch. And I'm curious how Pentiment will work out. I don't know if it was incredibly popular in the first place when it released onto Xbox in Game Pass, but the more platforms it can go to, sure, the more of a chance it has to sell and reach a wider audience. And then we went into Nintendo Switch Online, as we do have some updates here. Games are going into the service, and it's a bunch of rare titles, which is a bit surprising here. Snake Rattle and Roll, RC Pro-Am, Battletoads and Battle Maniacs, and Killer Instinct on the Super Nintendo. So really, really good update there for kind of that baseline level at $20 per year. And then for the Nintendo 64, they have Blast Corps. And then to finish out this Nintendo Direct, they did have Endless Ocean Luminous. Now, Endless Ocean, going back to the Wii, definitely had kind of a cult following, I'd say, behind it. But like when this was brought up, even I think Sean RGT was excited about hearing that we could see a new Endless Ocean game. And, you know, there's some legitimately impressive stuff in here. So first of all, as you imagine, you dive underwater, you discover things in the quote-unquote endless ocean, but every time you dive, it's different. So I don't know if it's procedurally generated, but it will be a different adventure every time you set out on an expedition. And if you go online, you could have 30 people diving together. And it sounded ridiculous, but I guess because the oceans obviously would be so large, it's not going to be as condensed with people just kind of swimming over each other constantly, because 30 people, that sounds like quite a bit. Actually pretty impressive to see that there in motion. Over 500 different species, and some are mythical, so that I'm kind of imagining a few things there as I guess the direction they'll go with that one. This is coming out May 2nd, 2024, so once again, not too far off. In fact, many of the games that were shown here are coming out in the next probably 6 months at the most. And I feel like because I went into this partner direct with that lowered expectation, I thought it was all right. It wasn't bad. It wasn't incredible. It was somewhere in the middle. You could say it was just fine, but there were some fun surprises in here, like that Battlefront collection that I came away going, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm on board for that. So to me, it was a pretty good partner showcase, but of course, let me know down below what you thought of it. And that was also our poll question, so we'll see what the community thought when it came to a letter grade. Next up, let's talk about Microsoft officially revealing the 4 previously unnamed titles during their Xbox podcast event, although we basically already know what those 4 titles were as they kind of got out there right afterwards. And then we kind of put the pieces together and figured it out. Nonetheless, they did push a press release now detailing these different games and even giving us release dates for all of them, which we can see this posted up over on news.xbox.com. And we have Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves. Now, 2 of the 4, of course, were revealed during that Nintendo Partner Showcase event with Pentiment and Grounded, but Hi-Fi Rush is just going to PlayStation 5 at this time, and it is releasing March 19th. As for Sea of Thieves, same deal here, April 30th. It'll have crossplay, the whole deal there, so that just kind of working off of Rare being able to build up their player base with Sea of Thieves. And then they also put them alongside of titles like Minecraft, Call of Duty, Overwatch, Diablo, games that are, yes, on other platforms, but I do want to point out these are games that were already on other platforms when Microsoft came in and bought the publisher or the parent company here, so not necessarily the same in the sense that they are going from, okay, this was just an Xbox or Game Pass exclusive to now being out there on other platforms, but still just a way, I guess, for them to kind of soften the blow, I guess. But it does appear we are going to have physical copies for some of these games, specifically Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment. So this is being handled by Limited Run Games, and Hi-Fi Rush even quote tweeted and mentioned this over on their account. So physical editions of Hi-Fi Rush for Xbox Series X, S, and PlayStation 5. And then for Pentiment, we have some key art here where they have it for Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation 5, with pre-orders going live actually starting today, so you can check that out over on their website there. But I think it is great to see just Hi-Fi Rush being the big one for me anyway, that it will be getting that physical copy, because it was kind of a shame that it was a digital-only release when it came out, so it'll be nice to kind of have that box art up on the shelf here for it. But then people noticed that the official Xbox account over on X was commenting about this move by Microsoft, saying the biggest games will be more than just one platform. And yeah, that led to all kinds of discourse online around the strategy for Microsoft going forward, because as we were going through that direct showcase for Nintendo, right, the partner showcase, these games were also going to other platforms, but there were a few that were not going to Xbox. We talked about Ninja 5.0, that's not going to Xbox. Talked about Gundam Breaker 4, that's not going to Xbox. And there were a host of other titles as well, but you look at Xbox, and some of those games are just going to other platforms, so they're still kind of missing out on some of these third-party games, and that's certainly something Microsoft needs to work to correct going forward if a lot of their games, or a handful of their games, we'll even say, for now, are going to be making the jump to being multi-platform. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about the big Elden Ring expansion that was fully revealed yesterday, that's Shadow of the Erdtree. And in fact, if you look over on YouTube now, currently trending #1, just over 5 million views. What's really funny is it's only like a 3-minute trailer, but the live stream had a countdown of over 30 minutes to get there. But people hung out, they showed up in droves, and I don't think anyone was really disappointed because the game looks awesome. The expansion, I should say, looks awesome. Really, the art that FromSoft comes up with is just super impressive here. But we also had a bunch of details to go along with this trailer that you're seeing. So it is the largest expansion FromSoft has done, just outright, across the board. New weapons, skills, magic, 10 new boss fights. Some, they say, will be equal in difficulty to Melania, so, that's, that'll be interesting. Similar structure to the base game when it comes to, like, large open fields, and you have different dungeons that you go to. They say the surface area will be larger than Limgrave, and going between surface and dungeons is more seamless. This is a quote from Miyazaki saying this time, wanted to go more in-depth and bring a denser and richer level environment, which brings these types of layouts together in a little more seamlessly. There, of course, will be large open areas. There, of course, will be legacy dungeons, but we've also experimented with something a little more in between these as well to bring a more diverse gameplay experience. Okay, well, we'll see about that. There is a poison swamp, so people have been wondering. Yes, there will be one there. The collector's edition comes in at $250. It looks really cool, but it doesn't come with the base game. So just want to put that out there for anyone who was thinking this might be like you just buy this and you got everything. It's just going to come with a voucher for the expansion. Although I'm sure many people out there who are looking at this are excited for it, probably already have the base game anyway. The whole thing, though, coming out June 21st. But I am absolutely ready to head back to Elden Ring, even though I've probably forgotten most of the controls and the setup, and probably take about an hour to try to at least get somewhat reacclimated to the whole thing just so I can get killed over and over again. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I think I'm just going to get the expansion. I will admit, I kind of looked at the collector's edition a little bit, but I think I'll be good just getting the add-on expansion for the game that I already have. But exciting stuff there, of course, for FromSoft fan, Elden Ring fans. Cannot wait until June for the new Shadow of the Erdtree expansion. And before we go to the comments of the day, we're going to take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, give the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase a grade. Okay, C appears to be the main vote getter here at 44%, then B at 25%, D at 14%, F at 11%. Hey, 5% of people gave it an A. I'm sitting right in there at like between a B and a C. There wasn't anything that like was mind-blowing and incredible, but I feel like it was just a very solid partner showcase, and I came away with games that I'm looking forward to. Yes, there are a lot of older games, I guess, like Battlefront, Epic Mickey, but still, I mean, it's fun to see those games come up to the current platform, and then also, for some of them, have online, 64-player online for Star Wars Battlefront. That's going to be heading back to the old days with the PS2 and with really the original Xbox, and I'm looking forward to that. And we'll finish up with the comments of the day. We're going to start with this one here. This is from CK Plays Guitar saying, why would I get a PS5 Pro? My current PS5 box says it supports 8K visuals. That 8K badge is going to haunt them forever on the PS5. I assume the reason they put it on there is because it's HDMI 2.1 compliant, and technically it has the bandwidth to push an 8K image of some kind. Could be streaming, and maybe that's what Sony figured. Oh, these streaming companies, Netflix, Amazon, whoever, will get us to the point where we have media streaming at 8K, but like, the PS5 was never going to be able to do 8K legitimately in a game like a Final Fantasy 16 or 7 or God of War or Horizon. We see him have a hard enough time getting 4K 60 frames out of these titles. So it's going to be hard for the marketing, I will give you that. I'm not sure how Sony does it other than just saying, hey, it's a PS5 that's just stronger, and that's our marketing push. The PS4 Pro didn't exactly light the sales charts on fire, so maybe Sony is expecting this to be kind of a smaller draw when it comes to just the overall mainstream, and it's a way for them to more or less fill in the gaps for the enthusiasts out there who do have the really nice OLED setups and stuff and just want a bit more power and a bit more performance out of their current setup. And then we'll go over to a comment from the members video. You can see this. It's posted up by Patrick, who says, hey man, I'm loving these early newswaves, but I would love if you could turn background play on. All good if not, but would be convenient. So this is very strange, and I looked into this because I thought it was weird that it wasn't doing background play, so you can turn your screen off when you're just listening to Newswave. Turns out YouTube is aware of this, and they've been trying to figure this out for a little while now, and it seems like they'll eventually get there, but I was thinking maybe for members, I just have an audio version as well that I can list with each one. So you can just click, I guess, the link and just have an audio version of Newswave play. So I'm trying to figure that one out too, so stay tuned for that. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here. Today was the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. What did you think of the show, and what were some of your favorite announcements? Then also, what about Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Grounded, Sea of Thieves, all making the jump to other platforms? Are you thinking about picking it up on one of these other systems? And then Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. What'd you think of the trailer they showed, and are you picking it up June 21st? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.